in a simple seated pose. So let's just have a seat. Pay attention to what leg you have on top. We're going to focus on, shouldn't be work, right? We're going to focus on our upper body in the first half of our time together. And then we'll move more into our lower body. So let's go ahead and just close our eyes. Take an inhale and exhale. We'll start. Let's relax those hands on our legs and just breathe through our nose right now and try to slowly increase your breaths. Be aware of your tummy and your chest rising and falling. On the next breath, let's let those shoulders rise a little bit. So bring them up closer to your ears, and then as you exhale, you can drop them down. If you want to open your eyes or keep them closed, either one is fine. We're going to do a few of those, just kind of raising and lowering the shoulders. Let's take our hands off of our legs and let them hang by the side because I think we'll feel that better. So let's inhale again, shoulders up by the ears, deeper, and then exhale and push them down. Good. One more. Inhale big and exhale. Now right here, I want us to think about our posture. So just sit up nice and tall. We don't want to be rounded forward. We want kind of a straight line from our head up to the ceiling. So we're going to just help that by doing some scapular retraction. So right in the middle of your back, I just want you to try to squeeze those shoulder blades together. So pull your shoulders back and release them. Now, just a bigger move with that. We're going to draw our shoulders up by our ears, take them back as far as you can, and then take them down and release. We'll do that again. Take them up, back, squeezing the whole time, sitting up tall and down. So no rounded bodies right here, no lower back rounding. We're sitting up nice and tall. Do that again. Up with the shoulders, back and down. Good. Okay, relax them. The next one is going to be kind of funny. I'll turn to the side for it. So we're going to do our chin retraction. So we're going to take our chin forward and pull it back. So just stick it out as far as you can and pull it back. While you're doing this, keep your core tight. Keep that posture good so we're not rounded over. Sitting up tall, just chin forward and back. Good. Let's do a few more. I wanted to face you, but maybe you can't see my chin going out as far in front with that one. And back. One more, front and pulling back. All right, relax those shoulders again. And we're going to do some neck rolls. So drop the chin down to the chest and just let it roll gently to one side, back to the chest and to the other side. Puts a lot of pressure on the spine when you roll to the back. So we don't do that very much. If you want to take, take one roll to the back, maybe, and then go the other way, you could do that. And then that'll be as much as we do to the back. Okay, so we're going to just sit up a little taller again and look over one shoulder as far as you can. While you're doing this, keep those shoulders down and back like we practiced. I started to say promised. I don't think we did any promises yet this morning. And let's go the other way, looking over as far as you can, keeping your shoulders down and back, bringing it back to the center and relaxing. Now we're going to do a stretch. It's angel or neck stretch is what it's called. So I'm going to drop my chin down. So it's kind of like looking at my armpit. So I'm looking at my right armpit with my head. I'm going to take my right hand and pull it right there on the top of my head and give a deeper pull, not too hard, of course. And this left hand can just be hanging out, relaxing, maybe touching the mat. When you're doing this, even though it's giving a stretch in the neck, think about that opposite shoulder. What are you feeling there? If you're like me, I feel a lot of stretch going on in the other shoulder while I'm just giving this gentle pull. I find this one kind of fascinating. And release. Huh. All right, turn to the other side slightly, at an angle. Now drop your visual down to your left armpit. Take that hand, put it on top of the head, and pull gently down towards the armpit is where you're pulling. So your elbow's facing the ground, and this other hand is just hanging out. So I feel the tension here, but not near as much, which shows me that my left shoulder area is really tight this morning. And release. We're actually going to do those one more time each side. And if that's an area that you feel some specific tension, I would say later in your day, do it about 3 times, on each side. All right, turn to the side, looking at that armpit, take your hand on top and give that gentle pull. Ideally doing each stretch 3 times and holding for about 30 seconds in an area of pain or tightness. It's what you want to do to loosen it up and increase your flexibility. All right, we'll bring it up. We'll do one more time to the other side. Chin down, visual down to the armpit. Take the other hand on top and give that gentle pull. Maybe it's working at your computer, maybe it's your sleep, whatever. We can all get a lot of tension in our upper back, shoulders, neck, and release. Okay, we're going to drop an ear to shoulder now and take this other hand and just I make a little circle with it and push away, like I'm just pushing something out of the way. And then I'm going to turn my visual right up toward the ceiling. And breathe while you do that. Good, back to the center. We're going to go the other side. So look up, let your ear drop towards your shoulder. And then look up and push away with that other one. So this one you're trying to push down, right? Pushing down and out. Big stretch right there. Good. And release. All right, we're going to go into our spinal twist. We haven't even taken arms overhead breath yet this morning. Take a big reach up and go ahead and gently rotate to one side. Good, feeling bigger stretch in the back now. Inhale up again. We'll do that to the other side. Let's go again. Just inhale, exhale, and as you exhale this time, take this front hand and add a little resistance, just pushing on that thigh, dropping that back shoulder. All right, back to the center. We're going to inhale up again and go the other way, adding some resistance. Good, and inhale up again and exhale. Okay, now we're going to stay with that upper body stretching theme, and we're going to do similar to your tricep stretch. This one actually has a name called a cow face pose. Don't really totally get it personally, but we're going to take this one arm up and drop it behind our head. So it's just going to go right here. We're going to take our other hand and try to see if you can get those fingers to meet. And if you can get them to meet, and you can stay seated. I just kind of wanted to show you. You can be seated, you can be standing. It doesn't really matter on this one. It's all about the upper body. So you're just trying to pull so that each hand is grabbing there. if possible. If you're just right here and you're working your way towards the fingers, that's fine too. Now with this hand, I want you to, or with this front arm, I want you to try to pull it back a little bit. And then with this other one, I want you to try to drop it down. Just holding that stretch. That looks great. Inhale and exhale. Think about your body. Are you leaning over one side? Can you sit up nice and tall with that, or if you're standing or whatever you're doing, with that postural correction? Moses is clapping for us. He thinks we're doing a very good job, and we are. You are so right. And release. Shake it out. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So take that other arm up and drop it behind you. Oh, this is my tighter side. I have to work a lot harder to try to get those fingers to meet. I don't know if I can get them to pull like I could on the other one, maybe after a few seconds. All right, so remember, we're dropping the one shoulder. We're pulling back with that top elbow and just holding that stretch. Good. If you can see yourself in your camera, try to see if your body is wonky at all, right? You want to be, I'll sit back down because it's, and see if that, yeah, you want to be either be, if whether you're seated or standing, you want to be nice and tall and not leaning over or kneeling. Any of that, again, is fine. It won't matter. And release. Oh, that one's kind of challenging, right? So since it was, let's just go ahead and do a nice gentle pull across shoulder stretch. This one never feels too bad for most people. I like to grab on the lower arm below my elbow. Make sure you don't grab on the joint, but upper or above or below. I feel more stretch when I grab below, but I know some people say the opposite for them. And then we're going to switch sides. So again, we're not pulling our body. We're trying to stay centered in front. Good. And just pulling that arm across. That's good. Nice job. And release. Okay, I'm going to have us stand up, just however you want to get there. Because we're going to do another stretch just in our standing place, but then we will need to go to a wall for our next set of upper body stretches. But before we do, we're going to take our hands behind us and just do a prayer pose. So our fingers are pointing down, prayer pose. Now go ahead and pull your shoulders back, like you're trying to pull your elbows close together. Pull those elbows back. Good. So my elbows were here, and then I'm pulling them back. At the same time, I'm keeping my shoulders down and away from my ears. Good. Now I want you to try to flip those fingers. Doesn't work perfectly for me, but maybe it does for some of y'all, because ideally, so now my fingers are pointing up, and ideally you would like to have the whole palm of your hand together. Mine is not quite meeting, I'll be honest. So the bottoms of my, well, actually only the tops of my palm are meeting right now. But maybe your whole palm is meeting. That's good. And do the same thing, pulling back with those shoulders and down. Let's just hold here. You feel the stretch probably in your whole arm as well. I do. Yeah, doing good. Holding here. We'll hold just another breath and release. Shake it out. Okay, now we're going to go to the wall. So I'm going to turn my camera a little bit so you can see me better at the wall right there. We're going to go to the wall, and we're going to do so let me show you. We're going to start with an alternating goal post right here at the wall. The reason we're doing it at the wall, we're putting our feet by the wall, we're trying to put our hips by the wall, and we are trying to keep our shoulders on the wall. It's not easy, trust me. And then we're just going to alternate them. So just alternating goal posts. Good. You're doing great. Seeing if you can keep both shoulders on the wall the whole time. We're gonna do about 5 more. 5. Woo, my shoulders are trying to roll off. How about yours? 4, 3. Oh, I noticed my right one is really rolling off. 2, and 1. That seems like that should be way easier than it is. Now we're going to do a standing wall stretch. This is going to remind you of your downward dog, but downward dog, a lot of times we feel a lot of pressure on our wrists and it can bother us. So we're going to do it on the wall. So hands on the wall, butt back, and I just want you to let that chest drop right there in between your shoulders. You can get extra, you also have the like gravity helping you stretch right here. Feel that pulling you down. Try to just relax your head. Those knees are slightly bent. They don't need to be locked, but big stretch in the shoulders. We're going to do inhale and exhale for 2 more stretches. 1 more. Oh, good. And that's another one that, you know, you could do while you're watching TV or something. Just let your self come in and out of it a few times. Okay, we're going back with our bodies against the wall. And we're going to do, I think I'm going to take this little picture off the wall here. I'm going to hit it. So we're going to do an IYT right here. So just flowing through them. You're trying to go as tall as you can, but think about your shoulders. Are they touching the wall? Then a Y, then a T. You're wanting your elbows, your wrists, and your shoulders to be touching every time. Good. Just kind of flowing through that IYT. Good. And we'll go up 1 more time. Big stretch as tall as you can, like you're reaching toward the ceiling, and release. Now turn so that you're, what is that, parallel to the wall. And we're going to do an arm circle. Oh, yeah, my arm didn't want to circle all the way without moving my body. Try to keep your arm, maybe you're very close to the wall. You're a few inches away, obviously, because you got to have your arm in there. And you're just circling all the way back with that arm. Good. Now we're going to go the other way. Big up stretch. Good. You're doing great. Nice. Just lengthening out those shoulder muscles. 1 more. You probably noticed one direction's easier than the other. Good. Now we're going to turn around and do the opposite. So just big stretch, trying to keep it as close to the wall as you can while it rotates, trying as much as possible not to have to move out of the way for your arm, but I do. And we'll do 1 more, and then we'll go the other way. Big up and over. And we're going to go 2 more. Maybe you hear those crunchy things in your shoulders when you do some of these moves. If you don't feel pain, it's okay to hear a little noise. Just shake it out. That's the end of our wall stretches. It's okay to hear a little noise, but you don't want to have pain associated with that. I better level back up my camera. There we go, I think. Maybe. It's close. That's the danger. That's the danger of doing that. That'll be good enough. Okay. So yeah. So it's okay to feel a little noise every now and then in our joints, but we don't want to feel pain associated with it. Of course, what you could try first is just lots of stretching to see if you can alleviate that. All right, let's see. Yes, I was going to do a lower back hand clasp. So just take your hands behind you and grab them just like you would in, just clasping your fingers like you're holding hands with someone. So holding hands right here, we're going to drop it down. Pulling those shoulders down and back. Now, I know we haven't done much lower body stuff today, but we are going to go ahead and do just our forward fold. This would be like your humble warrior. Just holding here, letting that back release, and then release the hands and come all the way up. Good. Okay, reach back there and do your natural grab again. Now, I want you to switch. See, you probably wouldn't, I want you to switch hands. So the other hand is on top, if you want to say, or in front. I had to have us do our natural one first so you would know which way to do it. Okay, squeeze those shoulder blades back again. This time take your feet a little wider for your forward. Before we do our forward fold, we're going to take them nice and wide and do that same thing. Dropping forward, holding here, and releasing them down. Now I'm staying in my forward fold, and I'm just going to inch out my feet a little bit further. So just kind of heel toe them out. And then right here, I want you to sit back just slightly. So this is our first like lower body stretch. I want you to sit, keep your feet on the ground, but start moving your butt just towards the back a little bit. Feel that extra stretch in your hamstrings and your glutes. Okay, we're going to take our feet even wider, if that works for you, and move it into more of a lateral lunge. So start bending one leg, and then walk those fingers over to the other side and bend the other leg. Let's go through that a few times. And I talk about flossing through our muscles. We're just going right and left. Good. Nice. And hold it on one side. I'm going to hold it. I've got my right leg bent. And I'm going to go ahead and take that left foot and pull my toes toward the ceiling slightly. As I do, I'm going to push my butt back a little further and just hold here. That's a pretty good stretch. Good. I mean, it doesn't feel so good. And we're going to go to the other side and let those toes come up. Good. Sitting back and down with your butt, and then back to the center. Now let's bend those legs. I didn't get my camera straight and it's throwing me off. I might have to go adjust. I feel all crooked. Okay, so let your knees bend, drop your hips a little lower. So you're in a super wide squat, but with a flat back. I can show it from the side. I'm just right here. So flat back, and then hips up, relax the arms, no weight on them. Drop that head down and do it again. Bend those legs, flatten your back. And of course, you may not have your hands on the ground. I should have mentioned that. And if you wanted to hold on to a block or pillow or something, that would be fine as well. Or even if you're just up higher and you need to do it with your hands maybe on your thighs, never on your knees, right? Never on our joints. We'll do one more. Looking front and dropping down. Okay, from that nice wide place, let's pull those feet in and come up nice and tall all the way up. And just give it a side stretch each way. It'll feel good. We'll do that a couple times. And let's go ahead and give our back bend stretch with our W. Your back ought to feel pretty good and warm. And then reach it up and forward fold again. From our forward fold, I'm going to step back into my high plank. Our first plank of the morning. We're not going to do a lot of planks. We're just mostly working on stretching, but it is a good way to transition to the ground, right? Okay, I'm going to drop both knees down, release the toes, and just let my chest come all the way to the ground. Right here, I'm going to think about my shoulders again and pull them away from my ears. I'm going to keep one hand under my chest and lift up slightly, extending that other arm in front of me. And bring it down to the mat. Let your chin drop and do the other side. Slight lift and drop down. Now take the, we're going to do the other side again, but instead of our hand just being on the ground, I'm going to let your whole forearm be on the ground. So forearm on the ground, lift up. You're going to feel a bigger stretch in your lower back and maybe in your shoulders. Reach those fingers in front of you and pull it down. Let the forearm be on the ground on the other side and reach up. Also, another thing we want to be mindful of is not letting our head, extend up. Keep an alignment, head through the spine, and bring it down. Good. Releasing right here, taking those hands under your chest. We're going to push up into our tabletop and hit a few cat and cows. Just that stretch similar to what we did on the wall. You should feel your muscles be really warm right here. Your back is warm, your shoulders, your upper back, lower back, everything is good and warm. So this move, you can exaggerate it more than you could, if you were starting at the beginning of the time together. Okay, we're going to just drop down to our forearms right here. Keep those hips in the air and we'll thread that needle. So take your right arm all the way up and under. I know I said I was going to go onto the lower body, which I am, but I just am doing a few more upper body stretches as we get there. And just holding here. You can take this other arm and reach it in front of you overhead more if you wish, or you can keep your forearm on the ground, whichever way you like. They both give a good stretch. All right, bring that hand in so that you can come up on all fours. Take the other arm, thread the other needle. So your palm is facing up. And then if you want to extend that top arm up overhead a little further, you can. And we're going to slide back into a child's pose, except I'm not really stretching out in front yet. I'm going to take my knees nice and wide, so a wide knee child's pose, and reach my arms in front of me as far as I can, walking those hands away. Good stretch in the shoulders, in the upper back, in the lower back, and in the hips. Holding here. Now let your forehead relax. And walk your hands back in. You still have a wide knee. Sit right here. Wide knee sit. So if that's okay with you, if not, just keep a little pressure forward. But if you can, sit on your feet and just try to breathe. Good. Okay, now we'll all take our hands forward and sit back on your sits bones. We're going to go into a butterfly stretch. Good. And knees can be up here, won't matter, or wherever they go to. I got to make a camera adjustment. Can't face it, and my mat's straight, so that means my camera's crooked. That'll help a little bit. Okay, just holding that butterfly stretch. Things you can't let go of in your mind. Holding that butterfly stretch right here. Sit up nice and tall. Remember that posture correction we did at the beginning. Keep it here. And we're going to extend one leg out. Take your hand and pull this leg in as close as it can. If it's up, no worries. Just one leg out. Now I want you to just slightly lean forward, keeping your sits bones on the mat. So just a slight lean forward right here, walking it back, rotate, slight lean forward, from the lower body, sitting up, coming front again, a little further, good, coming up, turning to the side, just kind of like you're trying, somebody's pushing your lower back, mid back, gently towards your foot, come up. Now we're going to take both arms up, big inhale, reach it forward, and start walking. So walk those hands away on the floor. Walk, 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 pulling like you're just trying to grab something and get out of your stretch, except you're not going to get out of your stretch. Holding here and walking back in. Good. Take your inhale up, rotate, and reach toward that foot as far as you can. Maybe you get to your calf, you're still keeping that middle of the back nice and flat. If you can grab the outsides of your foot or underneath your foot, do that and pull. If you can't, if you can grab your calf, do that and pull. We're just going to hold here. At the same time, relax your shoulders away from your ears. Good. Start pulling those toes back toward your face or the ball of your foot. It doesn't have to be your toes, but either one, like the ball of your foot back towards your face, increasing the stretch in your calf, as well as your thighs, as well as our hips right here, as well as our lower and mid back. Holding here. And release. Whew, nice work. Okay, just bring that in. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Good. So we're just going to start walking our hands in front of us as far as they can go. Pulling down, keeping both sits bones on the mat. Don't let them come up. And then walking back up. And turning and slightly stretching towards your foot. Good. Coming back to center. Just reaching with the body, keeping both sits bones, going a little further. Coming back up, turning back toward the foot, stretching even further. Back up. We'll take our big inhale, reaching as far as we can forward, pulling down, trying to keep your back flat, tension out of the shoulders. Coming up, inhaling, rotating, and reaching toward the foot, pulling out. How's that stretch feel? Pulling, now we grab the bottom of our foot if you can, or your calf, wherever is good, anywhere but your knee, and trying to give resistance by pulling that foot closer, the toes, the ball of the foot, closer towards your face, feeling the big activation stretch in your calves, in your thighs, in your arms, in your back. Oh, nice work. Walk it back in. Okay, we're going to go both legs out. Take those toes, pull them up, pull the heels off the ground, and give a few point and flex right here. Point and flex. Heels not touching the ground, sits bones on the ground, and then in and out with the feet. Good. Some rotational moves, big circles, and the other way. Did you know our ankles, they have two issues. They get weak and they get tight. And those can cause problems in our knees and our hips and even our back. So we want to strengthen our ankles and keep them flexible. So I'm going to start walking my hands forward and see where you can get to. If you can get your forearms, just your hands. Trying not to round your back. Again, we're trying to keep that back kind of flat. So maybe you're just right here. That's good. So I was talking about our ankles. I was going to give a suggestion. One thing that you can do if you're sitting during your day is do the alphabet with your foot. So like an A and a B. Just kind of take your foot through that motion. That will both increase the strength and flexibility in those ankles. We neglect them, but they're the base, those foot and ankles, the base of that whole body. They got a lot of work to do every day. Can you go a little bit lower right here? Stretch a little further. Maybe take the arms a little further in front of you, holding. Now give me just a slight rocking motion from the, like at the sits bone. So just kind of rocking your hips forward toward the ground and a little bit back. And a little more front and a little more back. Let's do it again, 2 more times, front and back. And front and back. Good, walk them back in. Bring one leg in front. So it's kind of in that butterfly pose, except crossed further over. You're going to lean toward that side, pick up your hand. We're going to do a quadricep stretch. So we're going to take this hand, and you could always take a towel or strap and do the same thing. We're just leaning slightly over to the side and giving a good, gentle pull in with the hip, foot toward the hip. Trying to relax the shoulder. Now I want you to try to pull that back a little bit away from the body. So I was just pulling the foot in toward the butt. Now I'm trying to pull the thigh away from the front of my body. So pull it toward the back. Hold right there. I know for some of you with knee issues, this could be too much, and you just need to not have such a tight grasp. The truth is that we need to have a great range of motion for our knees. So we need to have our quads be really flexible, and ideally you do want to be able to grab your hands. All right, we're going to go just gently rock out of it and go to the other side. And that will help that knee if you can stay flexible here. And these are stretches that like people have to do after knee replacement. You know, the closer they can get to this angle, the better. Or after knee surgery of any type. It's done in physical therapy. So right now I'm trying to pull my heel in close to my butt. Now I'm just going to pull that leg away from my body a little bit, pulling it back. Good. Man, I feel some tightness there today. I'm trying to remember what our workout was yesterday. What's today? Thursday. Yeah, I did notice today I was like, man, here I plan to do all this upper body stretches and my legs are sore. Pulling away from the body and release. Good. All right, just bring them in front of you and kind of let's just do a little shake it out right here. Okay, we are going to just finish with some lower body stretches. So before we go to our back, I would love to do the pigeon stretch. I'm kind of in a funny place to get to it, but I want to do it. So let's bend one leg like you just were, and then swoop that other leg behind you, and we're going to go into our pigeon. So I've got one across, kind of a shadow there. It doesn't really work so well, but one across, one behind. I think everybody knows, yeah, what type. That back knee, you want it to try to face the ground, not be rotating out. And then let's come to our forearms. And then if you're okay, you can make a pillow for your head or let your head touch the ground, whatever is good. I was reading in my devotional this morning about just, it was about seeking God and how we don't just seek God, but He also seeks us. And what He's seeking in us is our hearts. So right here in this space, be a great time just to give the Lord your heart, your mind, your soul, your body, your strength. Just kind of open that up to Him. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll come up and we'll just switch to the other side. So we'll just bring that other leg in front of us, let it hit the ground. bring the other one behind and just get into your comfortable pigeon pose. So it says right here, He is the Lord of peace who desires to speak into our souls. He comes and finds us to draw us near, even at times when we're unaware or times when we do not understand. Isaiah 65:1 says, I revealed myself to those who did not ask for me. I was found by those who did not seek me. So merciful of God that He would seek us out. And He says what He desires from us. It's not sacrifices, but He desires our heart, our mind, our soul, our strength, just open to Him and a relationship with Him. Be a great time just to thank Him for that as you're in this place. All right, we're going to come up gently out of that, bring our legs in front, shake them out again, and then we're going to roll nice and slow down to the mat. So I'm going to take my hands on my thighs or beside my thighs, roll all the way down, and let that body relax right there. Take those arms overhead, give a stretch. Take your toes, point them, and kind of walk them toward the opposite wall. Walk your fingers overhead toward one wall, and then release. As you're doing that, let that right thigh come in nice and close to the body, stretching the hamstring. Use your breath to deepen your stretch. Pull it in a little closer. That's good. You can have a bend in the leg, but not too much. You don't want too much of a bend. And switch it out. Taking it to the other side. Inhale and exhale and pulling in. Good. Oh, my tummy was growling. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Time for some breakfast. Switch it out again. We'll do them each one more time. Just pulling in. Nice and close. Hopefully you can deepen it. Now take that same hand just on the inside of the calf. Take the other hand on the sits bones and just keep that, or not on the sits bones, on your hip bone. And just keep that hip down on the ground. That would be awkward. Just stick your hand all the way behind you. All right, and bring it up and over, hand above the knee, pulling all the way across. And gently take this leg and pull it closer towards your face as well. And back to the center. And we'll do the other leg. Hamstring stretch first. So you know they had that new study. Camila actually shared it with me, showing that the 30 minutes of stretching, it was 5 days a week. That's the way the study was for 8 weeks. Take that hand inside and open up. Lowered people's blood pressure more than 30 minutes of a brisk walk. So great work today in giving your mind and your body a good gift. Take the hand over above the knee, gently let it come over to the opposite side. Now I have my hand above my knee, not on my knee, but I'm going to pull this leg a little closer up toward my face and then let it drop even lower toward the ground. Holding that stretch. Bring it back to the center. We're going to take one more big stretch overhead. Inhale and exhale. I want you to bring your thighs in one at a time. Draw them in close towards your chest. This is a great lower back stretch, by the way. Anytime your lower back is hurting you, just lie on the ground and start with just a few, like pulling the legs in close and out. And that can just release that tension in the spine. Okay, keep holding onto them. We're going to rock a few times, letting our core do a little bit of work and bring it up to a seated pose, and we'll finish just like we started. Okay, once you get there, take a big inhale up, stretch it as high as you can. Hopefully those shoulders feel good. Praying hands all the way down, dropping those shoulders, sitting up nice and tall. That's what we'll practice and be aware of during our day, maybe a couple of times later on today, right? All right, right here, I just want to say thank you so much for spending the morning with me. And I hope our bodies and our hearts, our minds feel good, and we can go out and bless our world today. You guys did amazing.